Welcome to the foundational yoga philosophy of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. We'll try to cover the first two sutras today, even though there's 196, so that we can just start to understand what this text is about. We'll talk a little bit about the author and the four types of books within this text. So let's begin with an invocation first. As we talk about the sutras, it is normal and natural that we would have an invocation to this time of learning together. And we often chant a mantra in appreciation for the knowledge and for the people that have been passing it on. So if you like, you can chant along with me, or you can repeat after me. I'll make this slow so that it is easier to follow. Take a nice deep breath, get comfortable in your seat, and let's begin. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Badi Tamastu Ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskaram, welcome, namaste. So you might have heard that some pronunciation in there. You know, it takes a lifetime to perfect Sanskrit. It's great for sharpening your mind. It's an incredible tool for opening your heart. And you might have noticed that third line is quite difficult. Tejasvina, because we don't have this sound of V and W at the same time. And then we also have that vadi, vadai, right? It's V and B, vadi, tamastu. And you can hear my T's in there. The tongue is heading to the roof of my mouth, and then the back of my teeth for shanti, like a TH, shanti, shanti, shanti. Very soft. Anyways, welcome. So for the Yoga Sutras, the word in Sanskrit, shastra means to teach. And so we are looking at some shastras today, and we'll hopefully come back to that in a moment. So the Patanjali Yoga Sutras comes later in our timeline. It was sort of a reorganization of the Vedas, and the Vedas, of course, were cognized by the rishis in deep meditation. So this is sort of a Cole's Notes. This Patanjali's Yoga Sutras is a reorganization of this this word called yoga, found only 3 times in the Vedic oral tradition. And really the first 2 chapters, or the 2 books, because there's 4 books or 4 padas, the first 2 really cover the 8 limbs of yoga, which is very common today, which is what basically all yoga that we see in the West is based on. And the 8 limbs, Ashta Enga, 8 limbs, are covered in much more detail in most 200 hour. However, it's really important that you know where it comes from. Also, a famous yogi called Patanjali Joyce created a series called Ashtanga Yoga, and that was 3 set series repeated until you could complete the first series. You couldn't go on to the second, and it was quite difficult to get to the 3rd series. So that's slightly different than the 8-limbed path. We'll talk about what is covered in the 8-limbed path. It's not just postures, as it is with Patanjali Joyce. So really just a reminder here that yoga is about self-realization, is about that place of being with yourself. I love this picture because it reminds me of the stillness and the quietness in the depths of the ocean, where above the depth, the surface level is quite active and moving. And this is what we'll be talking about today in the first few sutras. So Patanjali was a sage who